Welcome back. Trevor has been in touch, sent me an email. So yeah, we're going to work at Trevor's today. Luckily for me, he only lives 10 minutes down the road, so it's a nice easy commute. So let's go and check out what we got to do. So this flat roof needs ripping up, new felt there, but mainly it's all these ridges all the way around. He started doing it himself, but has abandoned the project, let's say. So what we're putting on today is a dry ridge system. Normally you have sand and cement, bed it on sand and cement joints, whereas this is the latest thing. This is vented, this sticks down onto slates, tiles, whatever, and then you have these plastic joint strips to weather it, and basically you can see there, you push that down and that will secure it, and there's one either side as well, smaller ones, and then you put a big screw in there. So if you get high winds, this will stop any ridges blowing off. So there you go, there's a little cross section. They go like that, and there's a big screw goes in that middle one, stops the ridge lifting, and under there is a 2x2 batten to screw into. So I've made up a few, just going to work my way along here. These are a bit fiddly to get in. As we say in England, here's some I've prepared earlier. Right, we've got a few on. Let's get some screws in temporarily. We're using stainless steel screws, obviously because of the weather. Right, going to carry on. Leave them screwed like that for now. And we can adjust the ridges, make sure they're running perfectly straight, because also you can see it from the kitchen window. So it's got to look nice and neat. Got some foxes in the garden. Let us know if you get urban foxes. Not that we're in an urban area, but just wandering around. And there's his mate over there on the wall. Don't know if you can see that. Another good benefit of these is look how quick. Imagine if you was bedding that, pointing it up. Done. So this is the other part of the dry ridge system. Got like a vented mesh stopping the insects going in through any ridge areas, and then these bits stick onto the tile. Once you peel that back as you lay it, comes in a 6 metre length. They're about 70 quid for the kit. But one thing you will need to do is buy longer screws, because the screws they supply are useless. So you need at least 150mm or 180mm screws, generally. Plus their ones are so weak that they just ring off really quickly. So yeah, and then you just lay this out, cut it with a knife, roll it round. And they do it in grey, obviously this terracotta colour, and I think probably a couple of other colours, but I'm not sure, to match your tiles. I'm just going to roll it out and then cut it because it's so fiddly. So we got to the end of the first run, found this bit of a broken one, so I'm going to sit him in there like that. On the 45, and what I do is when I put the hips on, this will need to be cut back to allow for the hip to join in, but for now I'm just going to go 45 on there, then another one 45 in there for now, and we can worry about that next time. Just trying to get this on now because tomorrow's, surprise surprise, it's going to be raining again. Right, enough chatting. More cutting. Nice straight cut. Right. Moment of truth. Let's see if it fits. If it don't worry, I'll edit it out and cut another one. Only joking. Right, just gonna tighten all these down. Here comes the rain again. That was a famous song in the 80s, wasn't it? Or 90s. Let me know if you know who sung that. Right, first run is done. All secure. Never understand why they don't fabricate this in the factory. Lazy, that's what I say. Just stick this side in. Right, let's get some more ridges off. So we got our first 45-degree cut in. That's where we're going to meet the hip eventually, if you can see that. At the moment we're just whacking these on, so I'm going to leave it like that because obviously I need to cut this back to get the top hip tile in. And you just keep going like this all the way to the end, or until you get bored and go home. I think I know which one's going to. Right everyone, honest opinions, let me know. What do you think about this ridge system as opposed to sand and cement? Alright guys, end of day one. We've got all these ridges on across the top, all the way down the back. Looked easy, but they was all up and down, all over the place. I think there's about 3 or 4 different types of ridge. Some are third rounds, some are small half rounds. But anyway, got it on. Ran out of original ones, so Trevor's picked up a few new ones a few weeks back. So from now, that point onwards, we're going to have to run with new. Come in and then join into the original. Day 2 back at Trevor's in Birchington. Today, going to get rid of all these chippings and put a nice new felt roof down. And then we can finish these ridges, because we've got to take the tiles off to felt. Yeah, let's get on with it. So the old style flat roofs would have bitumen felt covered by an inch of chippings. What they do is keep the felt roof, the old bitumen, at a constant temperature, so it protects it from the sun and obviously freezing and stuff like that. But now things have sort of developed way beyond this old system, and you probably noticed the felt has chippings built into it. There's like a similar protection really, and most of the felts are not really bitumen, they're polyester backed, so they're really flexible, whereas this type of felt is quite brittle. So there's no need for all this anymore, so we're going to shovel all this up, bag it up. Trevor wants it spread in an old pond site down the bottom of his garden, so that's what we're going to do. Time to start shoveling. Also, there's loads of plants, well, grass really, growing through all of this. And it's not a green roof, that's something completely different, so it's got to go. You can see there's the bitumen, which all these stones were protecting. So it's not leaking, but it's just at it really. I'm going to shovel all this off and get the burner out, dry all this. This will turn to dust when it dries out. Sweep it off and we can put a new overlay system on top. This is a messy job, as you can see. This was clean out the wardrobe this morning, about an hour ago. But you know what they say? Where there's muck, there's money. And that's the most important thing. Whew, let's take a little breather. Well, you can see now, this bit's virtually back to the bitumen. This has still got all the chippings on it. A lot of those are embedded, so they've got to be scraped off, which is why I'm blowing a bit. But I'd say I've done half. Obviously there's a bit behind you that you can't see. So yeah, gonna come back this way and then finish that last bit off. Right, the whole of this roof is scraped back now. The only bit left to do is the upstand under those tiles. So now we need to strip all them tiles off, clean whatever gravel's under there, and then we're ready for a whole new felt roof. Now we've got to this end, getting more and more plant life, and here, if you can see that, there's a massive dead ivy plant. sort of growing up through those tiles. So we might have to take all this off and get rid of this. That's everything stripped. Now I need to get the gas gun and dry out all this damp sort of sand off them tiles. Usual story. Give it a brush down and then we can start felting. See, the bitumen's melting back. So I'm going to go over with the felt, that'll torch on nicely. Just sweep it, get rid of some of that dust. Right, it's drying out nicely. I think we need to give it 10 minutes though. Have a nice cup of tea. Ah, lovely. Right. Gonna need 2 rolls today. They're just under 50 kg each. Roll that out. Just cutting the front drip roughly. It's obviously longer than what I need. And I think I need to cut a bit of the old stuff away. Trevor don't want it hanging down, so we're just going to finish on that fiberglass trim there, as they've tried to, but their one's not stuck. Apart from that, it's all good. So we all know the score by now. Roll it back. Can go halfway, can go further. Entirely up to you. Just don't go too far. The reason we've rolled it out in one is so that we know it's running straight. You can't just roll, like, put a full roll of felt and go like that, because it'll be up the wall by the time you get to it. Anyone out there have seagulls? I don't know if they're more annoying. We used to have pigeons in London. I don't know what's more annoying. Never get any lighter. So next roll's going there obviously. I'm going to roll it out on top of this so I can get the length and then slide it over. So I'm marking this felt up to the correct width because I want to end up with this. This is obviously the top layer of felt. With this along that edge, so when I bring the drips down, you've got a really good seal on it. So I'm going to cut it to 65 and it will leave that much for the drip on the sides. Right, now it's time to cut along the line. I can use a straight edge and all that, but I'm just going to do it freehand. Using a hook blade, if you can see that there. So basically that hooks into the felt, as the name describes, and doesn't cut through the one underneath. So as you pull, you lift, and you're only cutting that one bit of felt. Let's go. Gruesome fact, these are the blades that the hooligans used to use in the football in the 70s. Rival factions from different teams, and when they used to do like that, because they would like hook it in and then, oh, turns my stomach over thinking about it, but that's the blade they used to use. Going to use this for the drips up that side and also up here. Plus I've got 2 bits of felt left there, so we should have plenty. So now, if you can hear me over the seagull, I'm gonna pull this section across. Get it in position. That's our first strip done. About 4 to go up there, or maybe 5. That's the bit by the window done. Now we're going to run these strips along here. It's actually now starting to rain, although it said no chance of rain, but you know, hey ho. So I want to get these on quick before the rain comes too heavy and tile this back in. But obviously, drink the tea first, you know. Get your priorities right. Just going to cut these freehand. Oh. Just knocked my tea over. I've got 1 sip left, look. Never mind. So we've got all our drips in along and around the end. We need to put a bit of lead flashing in that wall, because their felt is just tucked in. So we need to grind that out and put a lead flashing in over that new bit of felt. Lovely. Day 3 back at Trevor's. Just got to sort these ridges, bed the hips on, and we're done. And that tide has gone right out, further than I've ever seen it. Does that mean there's a tsunami coming? Hope not. Set our next ridge up. God, this is so awkward. Here we go. And we're in. Notice anything different compared to yesterday? No seagulls. When the tide goes out, they're all out there looking for lugworms and stuff like that. Bit of peace and quiet. Last few ridges. What's the verdict on the dry ridge system, everyone? Good, bad, or indifferent? So we're going to sit that in there. Nice tight angle. Cut this one. Cut that one. And we're ready to start bedding the hips. Put our cut in. Sit. Got a little bit there for a bed to point up. Then this hip, we're going to cut this one that comes in back, something like that, at an angle. So I need to cut these off after. But for the moment, that's looking good. Right, time for a tea break. Trevor's here with a brew. You know I like my tea. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Before my die. Yes. So I've laid the hip ridges on, not bedded them yet. That's my last little cut. That one's going to sit in there, something like that. And obviously that's going to be on a slight bed because we've got to bed this area. Right, we're in place, and there is our little cross section. Just going to bed these now, so see where we're running to. Right, let's have a look, see what we've got. That's that one. Seagulls are back. Can you hear them? That's the true definition of the phrase, throw it on. Right, bridge across there. Right. We are getting there. We are getting there. Last job of the day. A little bit of pointing. All the ridges are on, all the hips are bedded. We've got a nice new felt roof. Trevor's really happy, so that's the most important thing. If you like the video, please give us a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.